You used to go water skiing in the canal?
Yeah, just another thing. Like back in the day, it was boredom. Of course, I was in high school now, but like I said, my story earlier with my brother and I tying strings to bees. But back in the day, we didn't have a boat, so we'd water ski in a canal. A couple buddies of mine get together, drive our car down to the canal bank, take a set of water skis, tie a rope to the bumper of the car, and drive along the canal bank, water ski in the canal. Everything was lovely until you came upon a telephone pole.
Oh, jeez.
And that happened once. I came upon a telephone pole. I'm water skiing in the canal, just la-da-da, and having a good old time, and next thing I know, I'm getting slammed up against the side of the canal because I'm not paying attention. And the guy driving, I'm sure he knew this telephone pole was there, but he didn't say nothing. And the rope got hung up in the pole and bam, slammed me right into the side of the canal.
So the car went on the other side of the pole?
Yeah.
Well, the driver would have known that was going to
Oh,
happen.
he knew. He knew.
He just let it happen?
He just wanted to see it happen. We didn't have that on tape, thank goodness, but yeah.
And this is
everything's good until you do something like that.
And those canals were pretty big, weren't they?
Oh yeah. But they're cement sides, so you could imagine doing 30 miles an hour behind a car and slamming yourself into a concrete wall. I had skin just peeled off of me.
Well, because I remember back when I was growing up in Tularosa, New Mexico, they had a real small irrigation ditch, but it was cement lined, and it was just big enough for like one person to go through.
Oh, we had those too for irrigation.
Yeah, and we go.
But no, this was a main canal.
I mean, when you're talking about, where is this?
This is Turlock, California.
Oh, so that is how big? How big was the canal?
It's probably 3 cars wide. It was a pretty healthy sized canal, big canal.
How deep?
It fed the irrigation ones. Oh, it'd probably go 8 foot deep. Not real deep, but over your head. But they were wide enough to ski in if you watched out for telephone poles.
And when it rained heavy, I'll bet it filled up and became
Oh
dangerous.
yeah. And then other kicks to do. There was 3 of us that were pretty tight through high school, and me and a friend of mine, Bill. One day it was this other guy, Dave, which was our friend. It was his birthday, so we decided we'd go down to the local drive-in theater, and they had the listing of the show that was playing that weekend. Well, we climbed up the ladder, took all the letters down, and put up "Happy Birthday, Dave" for our buddy Dave. It was his birthday. So we go back to his house, pick him up, buy a case of beer. We're driving around the country, having a few beers, get a good buzz going on. We decided to drive by the drive-in theater. We go by the theater and we point to Dave. Hey, look what's playing. And he looks up there and it says, "Happy Birthday, Dave."
How cool is that?
Yeah, well, at the time, my girlfriend worked it there. So when she came on to work that night, she didn't pay no attention to the sign. Everybody kept calling up, wanting to know what this movie was, Happy Birthday, Dave. And she had no clue. She's trying to tell them that wasn't the main featured movie. She don't know what they're talking about. And she contacted her boss, and then they came out and looked at the sign, and it said Happy Birthday, Dave. But it wasn't the movie. It was a prank we made for my buddy. But she was getting all kinds of calls saying, "What is this movie?"
Now, you grew up, wasn't it, was it Modesto? You grew up? Turlock. But in the same place where American Graffiti was filmed, isn't that right?
No, that's Modesto.
Modesto.
Yeah. That's 13 miles south of Turlock.
Okay, but you did some crazy stuff in Modesto, too, didn't
Oh,
you?
yeah. Well, it's boredom, man. You got to find something to do. Back in the day, we cruised McHenry, the main drag. And at one point of McHenry, about the halfway mark of the main drag, they have a water fountain. And I don't know, the water probably shot up 20 foot in the air.
No, I don't remember seeing that in the movie.
No, back then they didn't have that, but that was a
built
later
after
edition.
the movie was made.
After the movie was
Okay,
made, they
right.
put this fountain in. So me and a couple of my buddies, for something to do because we were bored, went to the local Long's drugstore and bought a bottle of laundry detergent.
Oh Lord!
And we pull up to this fountain, and we dump the whole bottle into this fountain. And it made so many soap suds, cars were sliding through the intersection. The light would turn red, they'd try and stop and just kept on going.
Oh man! You guys could.
Fortunately, I don't think there was any accidents that night because we didn't stick around that long. But we ended up going like a block away and we watched all this. We sat in the parking lot, but we don't want to sit there too long because somebody might say, "Hey, them guys are just paying attention over here, so they must have done it." But oh man, that thing made so many suds. I never thought in my life it'd make that many.
You know,
They had to call the city out, turn the water off, and take a pump and pump all the water
they
out.
would have charged you guys.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
we'd have had fines for. Oh, we'd probably went to jail and had fines, but it was just something to do.
Jail. Now I know you've done some jail time, and you did it. We don't. You probably don't like to talk about this publicly, especially. You when you went to jail, you had pink toenails or something, right? Your fingernails were.
You had to throw that in.
Because that was funny. It was a funny story. I thought you went to jail, and they painted your. If I recall correctly, you passed out. They painted your somebody painted your fingernails pink just before they hauled you off to jail. So you're in a jailhouse with pink fingernails, right? Something like that.
I was 20 at the time, and I got a DUI. And they sentenced me to 48 hours in jail. I had to do a weekend in jail for getting this DUI. And actually, I went to court, and they gave me like 20 days to turn myself in. So I knew ahead of time I had to go on this particular weekend to turn myself in. And I had to be there on a Saturday morning early and spend Saturday and Sunday in jail. Well, Friday night, my girlfriend got a bunch of my friends together and had a party for me, like a going away party, even though it was just for a weekend. They threw a party for me, and I got so messed up, I passed out on the sofa. Well, actually, they painted up my fingernails, put makeup on me, took my shoes off, and painted my toenails. Well, I seen all the other stuff when I woke up, so I took polish remover and got rid of the fingernail polish. I got rid of the makeup, but what I didn't know was they painted my toes and put my shoes back on me.
And of course, you couldn't see your toes.
No, of course not. So I go to jail the next morning, and they make you strip out, what they call it. You got to get out of your clothes and get into a jumpsuit for jail. And I'm in there with like 15, 16 other guys that got to turn themselves in for that weekend. And we all have to strip. And when I strip, they painted my toenails bright red. And here I am in front of all these guys, naked as a jaybird.
With pink toenails. Red?
Painted red, bright red toenails.
Bright red.
Yeah, you talk about trying to act like you weren't, but almost got into a fight over that one.
I'll bet.
I had to tell them the story so they'd go along with
Like
it.
they believed it, right?
Yeah, back then.